Hello YouTube, welcome back Sequelize tutorial. In this video, we are going to design our Node.js API using Postgres database. As a ORM, we are going to use Sequelize. There is an alternative way you can use Prisma or type ORM, but I'm not going to use and I'm not going to talk about. So if you want to see a video about Prisma, then just let me know on comments below. I'll try to make. But in this video, we are going to use Sequelize. Alright, so what is Sequelize and how does it work? So as I told you, Sequelize is a ORM. And what is ORM? ORM is a object relational mapping and is like alternative way to raw query in your app. So it's really cool. Whenever we are going to use, then you will realize how easy we can interact with our database. It's a basically easy way to communicate with database, and you can delete, you can write, and you can do a lot of stuff very easily. So instead of writing raw query, you can use Sequelize. So pretty much that's it, and we are going to use it in our project right away. But before, and in this video also, we are going to design our REST API. That is why you have to know how REST API work. And let's jump into a diagram so that you guys can understand how it's work behind the scene. Alright guys, here is our diagram so that guys you can understand how API work behind the scene. Let's imagine this is our React app. So this is our client, and as we can imagine, like this is our app. So this is a bbc.com, the news portal site. So if you want to get something from, then you have to send a get request. So you suppose you want to read about sport or news, then you have to click the news. As you can see, the URL has been sent, and this is the get request that you are getting this page, right? So if you want to post something, then you have to send a post request. So post request means like you have email box or something like that. Your data will be stored to database, then you have to send a post request. So everything will be interact with the API. Like here will be API all endpoints. Like if you want to something edit from your database, then you have to send a put request. Then your API trying to contact the database whether the resources exist or not. So if the resources is exist, then you will get a response like yes you get. If not, then you will get 404 or something like that error. So if I am going to the website and trying to find news, instead of news, if I put in here SS something like that, so I'm just trying to zoom a little bit and try to send it, then probably I can see error. So as you can see, I can see 4040 not found pages. So if because this request, these resources does not exist to the database, so that is why I'm getting the 4040 text. So this is the way basically API work. So you have to just set up your endpoints, and then API endpoints trying to connect with your database. So as a database, you can use SQL, NoSQL, so it really does not matter. So we are going to design our API, then we'll get back once again. But for now, that's it. Let's jump into the actual coding. All right, everybody, here is my empty folder. Now I'm going to create our server. To create our server, we are going to use Express. So let's generate our empty project first of all. So in this project, I'm going to use yarn. So instead of npm, so you have to have yarn in your PC. So also you have to have installed Node.js in your machine, so you can check it out node -b, so you can see your node version, and also you can check your -p, so you can see your yarn version, or you can check your npm version just like this. So this is the requirement you have to follow along this tutorial. So if you don't know how to install, just Google it, and then you will get a lot of resources how to install. So I'm just trying to clear and generate our project. To generate our project, I have to just type npm init. So in it, then here is our project name. So like asking a question, so I'm going to give a project, so that oh, I'm just typing app Sequelize app, also then just it. So as you can see, I have generated package.json file just now. So now I can able to use this package.json file as our project list. So every package will be stored here. So let's see if I'm trying to install Express. So here add Express, then I can see this package will be add this Express in package.json file soon. So as you can see, it's a dev dependency and Express is our package is installed. So I just know that our Express package is installed by look at the package.json file. So this is really cool. And now I'm going to uh, create a folder just called index.html. So where we can type our code, index.js. As you can see here, we have generated our projects, but we have not write anything in index.html file. So now we need to write something in index.html file. Right, what we can do, we just go to the browser and trying to search Node.js. So if we search, or if we search Express, then we'll find our Express server example. So there you go, and as you can see, we just starting. Then afterwards we'll get hello world. To get hello world, we just need to copy this thing, and afterwards you can paste it here. So how it works is just require it is export from Express, and then we can store this Express in app variable, and then we can use this app as a get method. If we just start our app node, we can say index.js. Then as you can see, example app is listening 30. So yeah, you can check the listen port 5000. So then you have to do like you have to close the server, and then you have to close the server, and you need to restore once again. This is not good way, but what you can do, so you can use basically nodemon to constantly wash your server. You have to add yarn add node. So this nodemon package can constantly wash your server whenever you change something, right? So this is nodemon server is done. So we need to set up our nodemon server. So how we can do, so we need to just paste this line of script. So as you can see, I have pasted this script. So nodemon app.js, and that means so this app.js will be listening. So instead of I can index.js, so this index.js will be listening whenever I'll start. And then Dave, that means nodemon run Dave, so that will be constantly. So this setup is done. As you can see, its example app is listening. So if we are going to index.js and trying to send hello world nodemon, all right, so I'm just save, and as you can see, it is constantly washing. So 8000. So I have given here the port and this app and listening port, just like this. So if you want to make another endpoint, you can do it. So just copy it and paste it. So request, so hello nodemon, so you can give hello learn with Arif, something like that. So then you can give this URL here, lern learn. So then you'll get. So if I'm going to my browser, then I probably see. So how I can go, so let's say localhost. So instead of 3000, I'm going to put in here 8000. Then hello nodemon. So if I'm
giving the ALE learn URL, then I'll get learn hello learn with Arif. So if I zoom out a little bit, so then you can see clearly. All right, so that is the whole thing. And then what is the next thing we are going to do? So we are really good so far. So next thing, we'll integration our app with Sequelize. So guys, as I told you that what is Sequelize and how does it work. So but we are going to implement right now in our app, so that guys you can understand what is actually Sequelize and how it's work behind the scene. So let's go to the Sequelize website. So as you can see, sequelize.org, and here I'm just trying to follow this documentation, so that guys you can also follow the main documentation along this tutorial. Then you'll learn how to read documentation and how to follow documentation, so you'll get a clear idea in your head. So that is why I'm trying to show here. So first of all, we need to install Sequelize. Okay, so how can we install? So we'll use save. So that means it will be installed in dev dependency. So if we use hyphen save, so let's here I'm just trying to install this thing. So what we need to do, I'm going to use yarn, so that is why I need to yarn add, not npm, and just paste it. So then this package will be installed. So as you can see here, something is missing, they said. Okay, so okay, yarn add Sequelize. So let's see. Okay, so now it is being installing. All right, so let's install. I'll get back soon. I have installed my Sequelize, so now we are ready to connect with Sequelize. So I have installed this package, so and it is done. And let's go to the Sequelize website once again, and we need to follow along this documentation in order to create our app. You'll also have to manually install driver for your database you choose. So like here is the example, like which database you would like to choose. We are going to use Postgres, like PG, so that is why we need to use PG, something like that. So we are going to use PG a store. So let's install it, and I'm not sure it is installing, and let's see. Yeah, it is done. So as you can see, I have installed PGA store and Sequelize. So the next thing will be generate our app. So how we can generate? So as you can see, connecting to database, but this is not the actual way we are going to connect. So we are going to use Sequelize command to connect our database. So we are going to use Sequelize CLI, so you can install it globally or project based. So I'm going to use project based. So also remember guys, also you have to have install Postgres in your machine. So whenever you want to work in database, so you have to have installed. So I'll go very soon this part, but let's install this Sequelize CLI. All right, so Sequelize CLI, so it's not installing, but let's see. I think yarn add, so maybe we need to just remove the save dev dependency, and let's see. We are going to install in our project. So then what we are going to do, so we are going to init our project, so npx Sequelize CLI init. So then what will be happen? Let's see. You can see the magic, guys. So just take a look the folder, so you'll see the changes. So after this command, so npx Sequelize CLI init. So I'm just trying to hit enter, and let's see, guys. So you can see here our folder has been created. So here we can see everything. So as you can see, here is the config file, and here is a migration folder, models folders and seeder folders and so many things. So what is migration? So migration is just like version controlling, you know. So you are using github, so you are just saving your project, versioning how you can push and something like that. And the models is a represent your table, your database table, and seeder just for sending demo data to your database. But we're not going to use seeder in this app. Okay, so but we are going to discuss every single thing done randomly, you know. So we just need to create a folder. Let's create a folder that's called, not here, here let's create db. Inside the db folder I would like to copy and paste everything, config, yeah, config, and everything. We're going to move it here. All right, so db move, so we also need to move it into db. So yeah, okay, now as you can see in db folder, so we have config. So what is config? So config is like, as you can see, it is generated automatically. So it's for development, it's for testing, and this database for production. So we need to define our database here. So database name, host should be same, and dialect MySQL. Okay, so and what is migration? Right now there is no file in migration, so whenever we'll generate, then we can see the migration file. And then here is a model, so here is only index.js model. So as you can see, here is a lot of thing that is just automatically generate for our project. So how it works, so we'll go through every single step, but right now, as you can see, we have generate a new folder that's called db, and inside the db folder we have store all of our folder config migration models. But we have to recognize this db folder, so that means we did it manually, right? So we did override. So if you want to override, then you have to define the path. So how you can define the path? So let's, you have to create okay, so you have to create a new folder that's called, should be Sequelize rc dot Sequelize rc. So inside this folder you can, okay, I think it is created, so we are just moving here. Okay, so inside this folder, what you have to do, so you have to define the path. So how you can define the path? So as you can see, here is the path. We just need to copy and paste. So okay, so I'm going to copy and paste this Sequelize ERC. So path should be required part and module export config. So first of all, it will go to the config file, trying to find the. All right, everybody, so far we are good. So now we are generate our first migration. So in order to generate our first migration, we have to configure our index.js file a little bit in models folder. So you have to go to the db folder, then afterwards you have to go to index.js. So we'll just configure a little bit, so that we don't need everything, like we don't need fs, and also we don't need the path required. So we need Sequelize, we don't need the base file name. So also we need env and config, and yes, so let Sequelize config.variable use, and then afterwards we don't need this thing, so we can remove it. And here we can define cons, so export, so, or we can give it here name anything, so model exports, something like that. So we can give all model export should be here. So like whenever we create any new model, we have to export here. So that is the thing. So and then this model export, so we'll map through. So where can we map? So here will for is, so for is all models, and then it should be like model export or something like that. Yeah, and then this model export we are going to use. So we just remove everything from here. So let's remove it. Okay, yeah, so just we don't need this one, so we are going to use here this model export, and then Sequelize and Sequelize dot data types, and then db model. So it should be okay. So if everything is okay, it should be workable. Okay, all right, so we have done, and maybe we can use or remove, no problem at all. Okay, so let's generate our first migration right now. So we are going to generate our first migration. Our index days is done. To generate our first migration, what you have to do, like you have to type a command. So that's called npx cli models colon generate underscore name the user. So instead of user, where I can give it the books. Okay, so I have just used the documentation, so here I can give the b double case books, or we just b double case books. So then it should be generated. So as you can see, our model has been generated. So our models, here is our books model, and here is our migration. So it will generate automatically, guys. So here is the book. So we have given the title string, description like string, and publish this book should be true or false. So user, or you can define whenever you want to create any books, then you can decide like this book will be published boolean or not, something like that, true or false. And this one is our migration file, and here is migration is like a version controlling. So and then what we have done so far, like we have created our migration file, we have to generate our models. Now we need to configure our database. To configure our database, we have to go to the, we have done index, we have done index models. So where we want to go, so we want to go config.json, and here we can give it a name. So let's say I'm giving the database name, so Arif Hossain, and then the database name, let's say education dev 2 or something like that, and dialect should be post gre double s or gres grace Postgres. So how we can create database? So in order to create database, you have to go to your terminal, and then you can type SQL. So if you type, then this should generate automatically. So before creating any database, you have to install in your machine Postgres database. So how you can install? So you have to go to the Postgres install. So then you'll go to the Postgres website. Okay, so download Postgres. So I have downloaded from this website. So now as you can see, here is all device available. So if you are Mac, then you click the Mac OS, and if you Windows, then click Windows, and if you Linux, then click Linux. So I have been using Mac, so that is why I have to click Mac, and then it should show up a page and where you can download. Okay, so it's very simply processed. So as you can see, from these pages you can download. So after download, if you are using Mac, then you should have see this like open your Postgres. So you can open just like this, and yeah, Okay, so then what you have to do, so you have to create the database. So how you can create, so you have to simply type create command, create database, and the name of database. So you can, we have given education underscore dev2. Okay, so and then yeah, our database is created. So how do we can connect with the database? So you have to give \c database, the name of the database, so education and dev2. So then you are connected to database education dev2 user of Arif Hussain. So we just copy the username once again and paste it, and also we have to copy the database name and paste it here. Sorry, paste it here, save. So everything is okay. So now what we have to do, so we have to generate our dev dependency. So okay, so how we can generate our dev dependency, so we have to install, like it's called what you have to generate, so npm, so you have to install Sequelize CLI, so in order to work in terminal. So how you can install, so you have to just go to this here, and so okay, I'm just trying to copy and paste. Okay, so then it should be generated. um, so it is installing pg, so we also need to install pg. So we'll install in dev dependency, and let's see after install. Okay, let's check it. Yes, we have done our pg. So now what we have to do, so if we just go to the education dev, so if we just see the table, so there is a did not find any relationships or something like that in education dev 2. So how we can, like we have migration, in migration folder, sorry, folder, we have one migration file that's called create books. So this is the migration file. So we, what we can do, we can push this title, description type, publish type, create art to our Postgres database. So how we can push, so it's like git and github, so that is why I'm using push method, something like that. So we have to just generate this command npm sequelize cli and db migrate. Okay, so let's go here and trying to, so if we just generate this command, and you can see our migration is done. So if we check the database once again, so let's dt, and as you can see here our books table. Okay, so we can just select underscore from, so books, something like that, and let's see. Yes, there is a no row, because you can see here title, id, description, publish, and created or updated art, but there is a no row because we did not generate any data so far. So we have to use postman to create a new title, description, and publish type. So that is why we need to define the api endpoints, right? So before, we have to do one more thing here, like as I told you that we need to export our model. So if we don't, then probably sometimes we'll get error. So that is why it is better to use the model. So what is our model name? So our model name is books, something like that. So we can just use export from like const, let's say books, so required and books. Okay, so we have generated our books, and so far we are good. And now we are going to define our API endpoints. So where we can define our API endpoints, so we can define our API endpoints in index.js file. So like we'll generate post request, find our API endpoints, so we can define here, but we want to separate our folder, so that is why I have created a new folder that's called route in a root directory. So inside the route folder I would like to create another file, so that's called, should be, let's say, book.js, something like that. So inside the book.js file, we can define all our endpoints like post request and get request and put request and something like that. Okay, so to do that, first of all we need to define the express router. Okay, so cons router equal express pre. Okay, so we are getting express from express and dot router, and this router is a function. Okay, so afterwards what we need, so we need to get the models here as well. So in order to create posts, so we want to create posts, so that is why we need to import all models. So we are using models required and dot, so then it will go to double dot and slash db, then models. So we are getting all models, so we have already configured our index dot js file here, so it will automatically detect all our models. Okay, so then the next thing, we need to create a post request. Make post request. Okay, so now what we can get, so we need to router dot post, and then here I'm going to use create URL. Then here what we can use, so request and response, and then here I would like to use the body. So here I'm going to destructure. First of all, destructure should be title, then description, then published. So equal request dot, not query, request dot body. Okay, afterwards, so we'll just define, we'll get the models. So then how we'll create, so Sequelize has create method. So in order to create our book, so we need to define the model name. So we have given the model names. Here is the book. So if we take a look, here is the books model. So this books model represent all our books, so that is why we need to give the books model, and then the create method. So Sequelize has a create, create, and then here is the function. So we need to destructure everything. So title, that means title equal title, then description equal description, and publish equal publish. So we can just define all our body, and here is title. So it will create it whenever we send a request. So after create, we'll use dot then method. Okay, so dot then, and here, so what we can show, so raise dot send, so send method. So we'll send the, let's say, books, and these books, and here these books. And also we want to catch if anything goes wrong, then we'll catch the error. So send dot error. Okay, so we catch everything. So if everything goes well, we can able to create our fast post. So let's go to the postman. So as you can see, I have created the postman here. So how you can create a new post request. So what you have to do is just you have to select the method. So let's say if I want to create another new, so what I have to do, so I have to click add, so I have to click the post method, then the URL, and then I have to go to the body, then I have to go to the like raw, then instead of text I have to give JSON. Okay, so I can put here the JSON and I can get it here response. So the similar thing I have defined it here, so raw JSON, something like that. Then you can put in this thing here. So like we have title, as you can see I have tested out, so title, description and published. So we did the similar thing here, title, description and publish. So learn JS fun and something like that. Okay, so everything is if everything is goes well, we can able to create, so it is generated, but if we send it, so it should not be workable, so it's get error. Okay, so just because of so we can take a look our database, so how it's look like. So let's see, let's dt database, so backslash table, so there is a no table, so that means we need to migrate. So how we can migrate? Sequelize migrate, so we can migrate and we can undo all migrates. If we just type this command, then we can see our database, like as you can see. So now we have books table. So if we just undo all migration, so just like this, undo and dot all, then as you can see, if I'm checking here once again, then I cannot able to see any table. Okay, so books table is undo from the database. So you can undo and you can type this command as you want. Okay, so I want to migrate, then I can able to check it here. So database table books, so now I can send request. Let's see. Okay, I have sent request, and do I get any error? Of course no, I'm not getting any error, because this file I have to import where, like this folder in index. So index.js file don't know this file. Okay, we have to somehow link between these two files. So how we can link up? So we just remove everything from this, and then basically to link up, but here one thing I have to do, like I need to just module.export and router. So we need to router export and index.js. Okay, so index.js, we have to get const, so books or book route, yes, book routes required. So it's coming from, let's say, dot slash this routes, then book dot js. Okay, so we get book routes, and also we have to use the middleware. Middleware allow you to send JSON post request to your database. So that is why we need to use middleware. Okay, so app dot use inside the use function, so we have to use express dot json. Okay, this line, so simply this line, and also we have to define our all route. So you have to define all route below the middleware or you'll get error. Okay, so that is why you have to define. So define all routes. So here we have to define, so app dot use. So inside the use, so you have to first of all give here, so we can define the empty endpoint. First of all, it's the home directory, then get the books route. Okay, so save, but still we are getting error. So let's trying to see what is the error. So it says module.export for is not a function. So we have to go to the db index.js, and here we have to remove this line, I think, probably. So because we did manually, let's see if the error is goes off or not. And then it's still working, still okay. We just, okay, let's see if it is working. Boom. All right, so guys, I'm just pasting this line and see, this error should be vanished. Okay, so the error is gone. So now we can able to create our first post. So if we just send post request, as you can see, this is our ID1 and it's been created. All right guys, we have created our first post. So how we can check? So if we just query select from BW case books, and we can see like this post. So this is book is great. So I'm just as you can see, learn is fun. This book is great for learning, and publish is true, something like that. And yeah, we have created our first books. And if you want to create another books, then learn JS with Arif and learning. This book is great for learning JS. And yeah, let's create another, and ID2 it is created. So we can see guys, select and see, this is the two ID1 and ID2. So we can able to create our post right now. So if everything is goes well, you can create your own project. So all right everybody, so far we have done, like we have created our books route. So here we'll define all our routes. So we just created our post route. So as I show you, so then we just export import it from this index.js file. So here, as you can see, I have imported. So this book is export, so this router is export, so I can, so that I can able to use this base, these books routers in this base. So which is cool. And let's define our get route. So we'll get all our books. So we want to get all our books. So how we can get? So like here we'll send the get request. All right, so in order to get all books, we need to define get route, get all books. So here I'm going to define my get router. So if you just take a look the Sequelize documentation, you will see there is a function that's called find all. So we'll use find all. So first of all, we have to get books, something like that, and then this is the function, and here we'll get all books. Yes, everything is okay. Then we need to use the models.books.fin defined all. This is the method that we need to use, and afterwards we need to use then. Okay, so here dot then books, and then here we just use race dot JSON. So as a JSON we will show all our books, you know. So if anything goes wrong, we'll also catch because error, and race dot JSON dot error. So as a JSON will show the error as well, or we can just console log the error, console log console.error, console.log error. Okay, so if everything is goes well, we'll get all our books in the books route. So just go to the postman once again and we'll call. So here is the post and here is the gate. So here I'm just and trying to send request, but it is not working because this is not 3000, it's 8000. And let's see guys, we'll get 2 books as we created 2 books. We'll get 2 books. So if you want to get 1 books, let's say just like this, then we'll not get. So we just want to get single book. So now we'll try to get single books. How will get? So get single book, like user can get single book. Okay, to get router dot get books, and also request dot trace, and here let's say we have to define the ID. So this is book, and also we have to give it ID just like this, and here, and then we have to find out the ID. Okay, so const, we need to destructure the ID, ID request dot params. So request dot params. So whenever we send request dot params, then const will get title, then description, IP, TIO, and description, and published. So here I can define request dot body. Okay, so it's a similar thing. Afterwards, what we have to do, we have to define the models dot find. This is the find method, so that we are getting, so find by pk, find by pk. So this is the method that will define. So here is the ID. Okay, so afterwards we'll use the then method, then book, then books, and here request .json books. If anything goes wrong, then we'll cast our error and res.json, or we just use simply console.log error. So if everything is worked, then we'll get our single books. And but as you can see here, one thing, so in this case we don't need to use this thing, so if you want to get the books, so we don't need this line. So yeah, we just get the ID, simply ID. Let's try to get if it is working or not. So I'm trying to warn and send request. Yes, as you can see guys, it is working. So we can able to get 1 book. So if I'm giving the ID 2, then I'll get ID 2 books. So it is working so far, we are good. So we'll get single books and get single books from database, and also we can update in a similar way, so how we can update, so we can use the update method. So this is the CRUD operation guys, so we have done. So now we are going to use update and also delete. So let's use the update our books by ID. Okay, So row router dot books, so then id. Afterwards, what you have to do, we have to get the similar id dot params, so we'll update id dot params, and also we have to get like daily title and description request dot body. Also we have to give publish, something like that. So instead of publish true or false, we can define the author name as well. But let's see, whenever I'm just in this video, my goal is to teach how actually Sequelize work in Node.js, but whenever I have a plan to implement the front end part in this project as well. So whenever we'll do, then we will add our Sequelize models and so many things, so that you guys can understand how actually a big project work. If you need to update something, so how you can update, so we'll do it later if we need it. So for now we are really good. So the next thing should be, so we have defined our title, description, update. Let's say we need to get the models dot books dot as you can see here, all method, so find by all, find by pk, find by id, request and router, find by title and everything. But we are going to use here update method. Okay, so update title description. So yes, so we just need to get the destructure thing. So yes, title description id, we don't need id, so we'll get automatically id. So save it, and then we have to give then method, then books, and then here. But before we need to afterwards, this is title, and here also we have to define the where method, like where so where in where method, so like where id, so where id, if id, so here. All right, so just like this, then this should be okay. So then we can use the then method. All right, so dot then books, and here res.json.books, and here I'm going to use the catch method to get error. So if anything goes wrong, then we'll show here. All right, console.log error. So far we are good, but let's see. Matching a list. All right, so guys, here is the missing thing. So now let's try to update our books. So let's go to here, and instead of using gate, so I'm going to use another. So just copy this one and paste it here. So it's not a get request, it should be put request, and here body, then noun row, and instead of text it should be JSON, and we can just copy everything from here and paste it here. So and we have update our id. So as you can see, sorry, this is not. So as you can see, here is the books. First of all, we have to go to the books route instead of create. Then let's say we just update id 2. Okay, so we can, so instead of title, learn JS with Arif, update it, and let's send a request. The reason it is not working, so guys, here I have to define where it's up spelling mission. You can check your code and you can mess with this, then you can realize this should be where. And if everything is goes well, if you define, then it should be workable. So then if you try to send a put request, it is absolutely workable. And let's try to do it. So this is the get request. Let's try to create another post and generate. So id5 is created and we just want to update, so let's update the id4 and it's give the updated, so updated version, and here I'm going to give id4 and send request. So it is working. So how we can take, so we will get and as you can see, id4 is updated version. Learn with Arif updated version id4. We just did it just now and it is working, guys. So that means our put request is working. So you can create as many as you want and you can update according to the id. So you just need to set up your id from the url, and also you have to give the title and whatever you want to update, so you have to put in here. And then if you want to delete any post, you can do it. So it's so simple. So you have to just get this thing and here, so let's say delete, and instead of put, you can give here the delete method, and also we don't need body and this one also, and instead of update you can use destroy method, and everything should be same. So now you can able to delete. So let's say I would like to delete id4 as well, and inside the delete, so you have to define the delete method here instead of put. So on an id, so you have to give the id, so your id, your url, your params id, and the defined id should be same, and then you can able to delete. And if I click the send request, then it should be workable. So it is deleted id4. We cannot able to see the id4 anymore. So if you just query once again, and as you can see, here is the id5 only. So id4 has been deleted. So that means our delete functionality is also working. To check your terminal, you can just see, as you can see, your books is deleted just like this. So you can type by yourself and then you'll realize how it's cool. If you try, then you can able to make your own project. So far this is done, and the next thing will be like this API. We would like to integrate our app in front end. So the next thing will be to working in front end. Like as a front end, we are going to use React.js. So then we can able to create a complete parm stack project, not marn stack, it should be parm stack. That's it, and see you soon with another video. Bye bye.